Thank you to those who answered my audience analysis survey about amniotic band syndrome. I saw that one person knew about amniotic band syndrome, knew somebody that had amniotic band syndrome, and the struggles that that person has faced, while others didn't know anything about amniotic band syndrome or anyone with amniotic band syndrome or the struggles that a person with amniotic band syndrome has faced. So what is amniotic band syndrome? Amniotic band syndrome is when the inner layer of the placenta, the amnion, becomes damaged during pregnancy. Tiny strands of tissue or amniotic bands then form and tangle around a baby. And one or more of the bands can tangle around a baby, and when that happens, then limbs tend to lose blood flow, or the blood flow becomes restricted, and that results in an amputated limb. So when you look at me, you can see that I have one hand. I was born with amniotic band syndrome. My mother was told by the doctors the entire time of her pregnancy, whenever she went to get sonograms and all that, and just to get checked up on me, that I had 2 hands, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 feet. And when I came out, I did not have 2 hands, in fact. So she was told different, and they never saw that I was missing a hand. So the biggest thing that I got through my life with the effects and issues faced of being born with amniotic band syndrome, or ABS, would be I got questions a lot growing up. What happened to your hand? Were you born like that? Or did it get cut off in an accident? Did a shark bite it? I got all these weird questions, and at the end of the day, my answer was always the same. I was born this way. No shark did not bite my hand off. I was just simply born this way. There was nothing I could do about it. That's what happened. When I was at the age of 2.5 to the age of 18, I started going to this hospital called Shriners Hospital in Philadelphia, and they specifically work with children of disabilities. So from the age of 2.5 to probably 14, 15, I never once asked about, is there a thing that I can get to make it seem like I have a hand? Is there this? Is there that? I turned 16 and I decided I wanted a prosthetic because I was tired of not feeling as pretty as the other girls, because I got bullied growing up. I was told I wasn't as pretty because I was missing a hand. I was ugly. I was this. I was that. I was weird because I didn't have a hand. So I asked the doctors, is there anything that we can do? They gave me something that made me look beautiful in my eyes for the first 3-4 months. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a hand. It was just something that looked like a hand, that looked like an arm. And it got bulky and heavy. So then they were like, oh, let's try something else. That did not satisfy me. So the next result was, let's do a surgery for your brain and get electrodes so you actually have a real life moving hand. And when they said, let's do surgery on your brain, that is when I told them, no, I would rather not. I would rather be my beautiful, authentic self. So the struggles I have faced because of being born with amniotic band syndrome. Like I said, I was bullied. And then when I got into high school, I went to Hartford Tech. I applied for cosmetology. I got in. My sophomore year, the cosmetology teacher took one look at me and she said, you're not going to be able to do a 40-degree haircut or a 90-degree haircut. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to get fired from a job real quick because they're going to get tired of the fact that you can't do anything right. And she did that in front of everybody. So not only did she embarrass me, but she made me feel like I was nothing. So then I decided to switch career paths and I went into floral design. And by my senior year, I did 5 or 6 weddings by myself, as well as taught other students how to do weddings. The other thing that I am struggling with and going through right now as we speak is the NVA and Maryland. The state of Maryland will not give me disability because they do not see me as disabled because I was born with one hand and I've adapted with it my whole entire life. They took one look at me and my mother and said, had I had my arm cut off in an accident, or had I cut it off myself, I would have disability. But since I was born this way and I've adapted to it my whole life, I don't need disability. But the MVA, something the state is in charge of, sees me as disabled, and they want me to have a steering knob in my vehicle. The steering knob that I put into my vehicle when I went to go take my test caused me to get into a car accident pulling into the MVA. So therefore, I do not feel safe now having something like that in my vehicle, but I still have to have it in order to have my license. So now I'm in a catch-22 situation. I'm still going to get my license and overcome the situation. There are many struggles that people with amniotic band syndrome go through. Amniotic band syndrome can happen to anyone, but I want each and every one of you to know that just because someone has amniotic band syndrome, it does not stop them from wanting to try or succeeding in accomplishing their life goals.